and tell me something different. This is a really interesting conversation, so go for it.
Brother, let me tell you this. I was answering the wrong question. Okay. Let me just say this off the bat. I was answering the wrong question because at the bottom here it says, "Can you reestablish intimacy once you've had sex?" I'm thinking about intimacy, not necessarily the friendship. I think you're saying the friendship
Okay.
that you once had. So yeah, that threw me completely off when I started hearing what you were saying. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. So that's my bad.
But no, you've actually said something really smart here. I think that's a really really good thing. You've caught me out on this, right? Friendship and intimacy. Great question. Now we can ask that. Thank you for even taking that because I like that you've just taken that because you've updated the conversation. Friendship, intimacy. Are they two different things? Are they two different things? How do we see them? I want to know how people see them as well, because that's a really good conversation to have that piece. Are they the same to you? Are they different? Like, how do you see intimacy, friendship? How do we see this thing? You know what I mean? So I think that's a great place to have that conversation. I love that aspect as well. So great stuff. Okay, who would like to go first on this? Then let me look at you and say it's you. Okay, friendship, intimacy, are they the same thing?
Yeah, I'll go. It's okay.
Go for it.
Yeah. So for me, I don't think it's the same thing. I
Yes, love
think
that.
I think friendships are just something you have, things you have in common that creates a friendship, right? But intimacy is, like I said, is that vulnerability. Sometimes your friends are not always going to be 100% vulnerable with you, but you still have those things in common. You still go to the games together, to you go and do things together, movies together because you enjoy the same movies. You just have things in common. So I think intimacy is a level of vulnerability that sometimes friendships don't have.
Okay, I love that. Okay, friendship, intimacy, are they the same thing? V, you moved your finger. Sorry. Go for it.
Um, they are not the same, but they're not mutually exclusive either.
Ooh.
So
Okay, you ain't gonna leave it there, are you?
yeah.
You better
Well,
continue.
usually, well, in most of the relationships I've had, we were friends first, and then it built and built and built, and basically because that's how you're building, being comfortable, being around that person, spending time, growing, having common interests, goals, and then, like you said, it gets to a point where it's gone beyond a threshold where you're really revealing yourself, and then you become intimate, right? So,
Mm,
yeah. So different, but not mutually exclusive.
I love that. Love that. Okay, cool. Love that point. Winter. Sorry, it's because I saw you move, Winter. Intimacy, friendship, are they the same thing?
I know I love V's answer. I definitely agree with her. I don't any need to add. I just agree. True story. I'm with V on this.
Oh, I thought you were to give us a true story. Sorry, but you meant true story. I'm agreeing with you. No worries. Appreciate that. Simply Winter. Thank you, Sean. Friendship, intimacy, same thing.
No, I don't think so. I think that very similar to what others have shared. I think you do have different friendships and different levels of depth with those friendships, and I don't think it makes it less of a friendship or not. Like you might have a friend that you talk to once a year, so it might not be as deep of a friendship, but you've known them for 20 years, right? And when you talk or you're in the same space, it's like the time had never passed. But that's not as intimate as somebody I talk to with regularity, right? So I think they can be very different and they don't always equate to the same thing, you know? Somebody put in the chat, which I thought was a great point. They said that they're intimate with their therapist, but their therapist is not their friend. So I think you can have that. And some people are intimate, unfortunately, where the intimacy isn't reciprocated. So you're being intimate with the person, but they ain't reciprocating that intimacy. So it's really not intimacy, right? It's a very one-sided exchange. So whether that's physically with your body or emotionally or mentally, the exchange, and it's not to say people are going to give the same thing back, but there should be some reciprocity in the exchange in order for you to really dictate it to be intimate, right? You see those relationships or friendships where all I do is talk about my issues and all you do is celebrate what you got going on. There's no intimacy there because all I'm doing is talking about my issues, but you don't share anything with me. You're not vulnerable with me. So that's also another side of the coin where I think friendship isn't always intimacy also.
Love that point. David, intimacy, friendships, the same thing?
No, I don't think it is. In my opinion, I think you shouldn't be intimate with someone who you don't consider a friend, but you can be friends with someone that you're not intimate with. So you can be friends with someone and you guys are not intimate. You can just be friends, or you can just be colleagues or acquaintances or whatever. Hi, how you doing? How you doing? I'm not gonna tell you what I had for dinner last night or what my husband did or said to me or whatever. But my husband or the person I'm intimate with, we have to be friends, because being friends means for a base level, I need to like you. I need to like something about you. Is it the way you are as a person, the way you carry yourself, or the way you handle yourself? I mean, so. But for me to be intimate with you, that is giving myself a part. That's giving you a part of myself, and that's why they say it's intimacy. So I can't be letting you see the inside of me if there's no sort of friendship or base level of liking going on there. So they're very different in my opinion.
Thank you very much, David. I appreciate it. Sorry, Black, you wanted to... Wait, Ajuba, do I ever ask you? I don't think I've asked you, have I? Ajuba, thank you. Sorry, apologies. Before I go to Black. Ajuba, yes, go for it. Oh, sorry, I'll mute you. Go for it.
I'd probably differentiate. You don't say, this is my intimate friend. You say, this is my close friend. So you say, this is my partner, and we're intimate. We're, you don't say, this is my partner and we're close. So I think it's kind of interesting when you kind of use certain words for certain connotations to kind of describe what you're kind of trying to get at. So sometimes you share intimate details of yourself with someone that you're close to, and sometimes you don't. And some people, they might do that even if they're not close to somebody. They have no problem telling their business to anybody,
Yeah.
But I think when you say partner, and it inherently implies intimacy, whereas a friend, it's kind of open-ended. Like, what kind of friend are they? Are they a close friend? You don't say, this is my intimate friend, so that's...
I love that. Thank you, Ajuba. Black, what's your thoughts on this, man?
Yes,
she
took the words right out of my mouth. You know what I mean? I wanted to clarify that because when we saying friends, I know in the beginning I did say that I don't think that they're the same. I still feel that way. But again, there are levels. But I would say best friends are someone who has seen your stuff. You have seen their stuff, and you guys are still connected, even in spite of seeing what you've seen, right? So I think that there are levels to it. So I think the best friend category is something that that kind of separates. Even though it has the word friend in it, it still separates to me, because I'm going to talk about the 2022 best friend where you talk to someone for a week and all of a sudden they're your bestie. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the good old fashioned late 1900s type of best friend where you spend years building a friendship with this person. You've known each other. I have a best friend I've known for 30 years. And when we talk. It's deep conversations. So that particular friend is what comes to mind when I say best friend, and someone you can be intimate with. And she and I have been cool from day one. You know what I mean? So that's what it means to me.
Love that as well. I think when you push back on that earlier on, I think it was good pushback. I definitely believe that, they're not, as V was saying, mutually exclusive, in the sense of, I definitely feel that you can be intimate with whoever you choose to be, being vulnerable in the sense of with anybody.